Hi, I'm Natalie. Welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a really long time since I last posted. I just kind of got away from filming and kind of got in my own head a little bit too much about trying to make the perfect video and the perfect makeup look, and got busy with work and just kind of got away from filming. But I'm really happy to be back. I'm feeling super re-inspired and I've gotten a lot of great feedback from people, and my number one requested video right now is everybody kind of wants to see just sit down, get ready with me, how I do my entire full face of makeup, which I love playing with makeup, love talking about makeup. So I'm really glad to hear all of your responses. I'm really happy to be back. So thank you guys so much for coming back to my channel and all of your great responses on my other video and all the great responses I've been hearing from you all. It really means so much to me and I'm really excited to be back. So I'm excited for this makeup look, and if you want to see how I created it, stick around. Alrighty, so let's get into the video. I have you zoomed in a little bit more so that you can see better as to what exactly I'm doing on my face. To start, I already cleansed and moisturized my face so that I have a clean base to apply my makeup to. That's why I'm looking a little shiny right now, because I'm all nice and hydrated and moisturized. So for a primer today, I'm going to be using the Vitamin Enriched Face Base by Bobbi Brown. Now this is one of my all-time favorite primers. It's just so moisturizing and hydrating, and I really love the luminosity that it can give your face. I also find that it does bring moisture to my face without making it too oily or too greasy. Now I do have skin on the drier side, but I also have very sensitive skin that my pores like to get clogged easily, so I like to use products that aren't super oily, and I really love this primer because of that. So I do bring my primer all the way down my neck because I like to apply my foundation down my neck too. So you need to prime all the surfaces where the foundation and the makeup are going to go. For foundation today, I'm going to use the Dior Air Flash foundation. Now I am a huge fan of foundation. I have so many different kinds of foundations and I love to mix and match, and certain days I feel like using one, certain days I feel like using another. So in videos I'll be using different foundations, but it doesn't mean that I've fallen out of love with a different one. It just means I kind of like to switch up my routine. Now the unique thing about this foundation is that it's an aerosol foundation, so it sprays out. So it can make kind of a mess. And then using a kabuki brush by Morphe. It is an M439 brush. I'm just going to spray it onto the top of the head right here, not to make a mess everywhere. And then I like to disperse my foundation first all over my face so that I don't end up with a lot all in one area. And then in circular motions, I'm going to start blending it into my skin. And also for my skin, I found I just like to be a little lighter handed with the foundation and then compensate for any red areas or any splotchiness with a good concealer. That way I don't feel like I have that much on my skin and my skin doesn't feel real heavy. And then bringing it down my neck. So I like to make sure that everything blended up into the hairline nicely. Next, I am going to go in with concealer. Now I am using the Fenty Beauty concealer today, and I am using the shade 170 and 110. So I am going to be mixing these. I'm going to use the color 170 for the majority of my concealing, and then I'm going to use the lighter shade just to highlight areas of it. Nice little zit that came to visit me this week. On my nose area I tend to get red, and then my forehead a little bit. And then I'm going in with this lighter shade over top of some areas just to give it a little more brightness in those areas. Now I really love how pigmented these concealers are without being too cakey or too heavy. I have a difficult time with crease lines underneath my eyes. They naturally just like to crease. And I find that this concealer is really great at helping to prevent that. Oh, and I am using a beauty blender then to blend the concealer into the foundation. I just find that for concealer, a beauty blender or some type of a beauty sponge just really gives me that seamless blend that I really like. I also just realized that I forgot to put eye primer on, which is always an essential. So for eye primers, I find that my eyes crease really badly when I wear eyeshadow for some reason, just the shape of them. So I have to always use some sort of an eye primer, and my favorite is the Nars. It is the Nars Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base. This is my absolute favorite eyeshadow primer. This will not budge. There, like that. And then I'll continue with my concealer and just put that over top of it. And then because I do have just a little spot right here that didn't quite get concealed with that concealer, I'm going to use this Nars, the Soft Matte Complete Concealer in this little pot right here. This is a really thick pigmented concealer, so it's really great for covering up any blemishes. So I just take the slightest little bit on my nail and put it on whatever I'm trying to hide. And then just kind of pat it out. Now a little bit of this goes a long way. You do not need much at all, but it's just so creamy and pigmented that it really covers any little spot up so well. Next is powder, because I need to set this concealer and this foundation so that it doesn't crease in any spots and it doesn't move around. So for powder today, I'm going to be using this Peach Perfect powder by Too Faced, and it kind of has a peachy tint to it, but it doesn't, the peach doesn't come across on the skin. It's just very brightening and mattifying. So I'll take my beauty sponge and I'll dip it into the powder, and then I'll press it underneath my eyes. The main areas that I focus my loose powder are my under eyes, my chin, and my forehead, because those are the main areas where my makeup either likes to crease or get shiny. Now, most importantly, I think this is forgotten a lot, is to powder your neck area, because we did apply makeup there and we don't want any of that makeup to transfer onto our jewelry or our shirts or anything throughout the day, and that's a common spot. So next up, I'm going to do some contouring, and I'm going to be using the Fenty Beauty, what's it called? The Stalk'r bronzer. I think that's what the name of it. It's in the shade Inda Sun, and I think this is the lightest shade, I'm pretty sure. But this is a really great contouring product. It's been my favorite as of lately. And I've been really enjoying using this Morphe brush, which seems to have gotten the brush number worn off of it, because I do love it and use it so much, but it looks like this. It's got a slightly bigger head on it, but more narrow right here so that you can get in to the contour of your cheeks more easily. So then I'm just going to dab that in there and start going in. I tend to like to go with a lighter contour product and then build with the product, because sometimes if you go with a real dark contour color, it can be difficult to blend. And I focus right in the contour right here of my cheek, and then I kind of blend it upwards, and I bring it up onto my temples as well. And I also bring it onto my forehead, because we want to be a bronzed goddess. I really love contouring. Gotta check to make sure they're even. And I think we're good. Next up is blush, and I'm going to be using this MAC blush in the shade Dame. I love MAC's blushes. I think they have some of the best out there. And I'm using a Kylie Jenner blush brush that looks like this. It also has the identifying number worn off, because this is my favorite blush brush at the moment. So looks like that. Maybe a little more. Next is highlight. Love highlight. I'm going to be using the Anastasia Glow Kit in Sun Dipped today. I'm going to be mixing this shade and this shade right here with my Morphe M510 brush, and then focusing that on the tops of my cheeks. And of course, on the tip of the nose, a little bit on the Cupid's bow. And then recently, with any excess on my brush, I've kind of been liking to kind of bring it up onto the top of the brow bone, kind of up onto the forehead, to give it kind of a more all over luminous look for the summer. This has been really pretty, so you look like you're just kind of sun-kissed, kind of glistening. I've been liking it recently. And now that I've done all of the face, I'm going to bake. I'm going to go back in with my powder that I used earlier and my beauty blender and just bake underneath where we contoured, just to kind of give some more crisp, cleaned up line right there. So I like to go in with kind of the fat part of my beauty blender with any excess concealer and just kind of chisel out a little bit more and then go in. There's one phone hooked up in my house, and it's in this room. So now that we're just gonna let this sit for a while, we're gonna move on to eyebrows and eyeshadow. Most important. So for my eyebrows today, I'm going to be using the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil. I think Benefit has some of the best brow products out there, and this is their brow pencil that's real fine tipped. They have a couple different kinds. They have a thicker one that's a bit more angled, and I know my mom really likes that one, but I think this one just allows me to make more hair-like strokes, and it gives it a little more of a natural look. I'm just kind of gonna do a quick go through my eyebrows today the way that I have been doing them lately, but let me know if you guys want a more in-depth eyebrow tutorial on how I like to do my eyebrows, because they can be tricky little guys to get. This brow wants to be a little thicker than the other. I think that's about as close as I'm gonna get them for today. Eyeshadow is my favorite, and today I'm going to be using a Kylie Jenner palette. I'm pretty sure this is the Bronze Extended palette. Looks like this. I think I'm gonna go for a matte look today. I don't think I'm gonna use any shimmer on my eyes because I do have so much highlight going on elsewhere in the face. I think I'm just gonna go with a matte eye. I decided to zoom you guys in a little bit closer so that you can see the actual eyeshadow portion a little better. So to start, I'm trying to hide the mirror so you don't get the reflection, I'm going to be using this orange shade in the palette, and I'm going to be blending that into my crease, all through my crease and underneath the brow bone. And I am using a Morphe brush. I think it says this is an R37. It's really, really big and fluffy on the end, which is why I love it for this part of the eye. So next I'm going to go in with still a fluffy brush, but a slightly smaller. It's got fewer bristles and it's not quite as wide. It's a Morphe M441 brush to focus a little more right directly in my crease area. So I'm going to be using this color and probably a little mix of this color. So I'm just gonna dip into those two colors and then focus more directly into my crease. I also have eyeshadow all over my hands now from picking up this palette over and over again. I don't know how that happens. I always manage to get eyeshadow all over the palette, inside and outside of it, and then every time I use it, it just gets everywhere all over me. All the phones are ringing today. Now I think I'm gonna go in with just the lighter of the two colors that I was just mixing with. Yeah, that's the lighter one. And I'm going to use a Morphe M204 brush. That's real small and flat. And I'm going to pack that shade all over my eyelid. So I'm packing that all over the eyelid, and then I'm bringing it up and blending it up into that crease that we were just blending. And then I'm going to take that brush that I was using earlier, the M441, and I'm just going to blend the shadow we put on the eye and the shadow in the crease area into one. Next, I'm going to use a smaller, more defined, fluffy brush. Looks like this. It's got a bit shorter bristles, but still fluffier bristles than some of the other brushes, and it's an M433 brush by Morphe. And I'm going to be using this brown shade. It's a little more red, I would say. It has a little more red tones in it, and it's a little bit darker. So I'm gonna take that on my brush and then just kind of focus it on this outer corner area of my eye, just to add a little bit more depth before I put my darkest shade on there. It's nothing too dramatic, but I think it just gives a little more definition. I think that looks even enough. Lastly, I'm going to go in with another Morphe brush. That's another flat brush, but it's a really, really little flat brush, and it's the M124. And I'm going to be dipping this into the darkest matte shade in the palette right there. And then I'm just going to be focusing that ever so lightly just on the outer corner of my eye, just to give that kind of more smoky, darker look. And a little bit goes a long way with this color. One eye always likes to blend differently than the other. I don't know how this one side got a lot darker than the other one. I guess this is gonna be a really smoky look today. I'm just going to get Mexican food with my family, but some real smoky shadow. So I am bringing this a little more into the middle of my eye just because it kind of got a bit dark. So I'm trying to blend it out. And then I'm going to take an even smaller defined brush. I know I keep saying that. It's teeny tiny. It's really short, it's really flat, and it's really dense. It's a Smashbox number 20 brush. And I'm just going to use that to put a little bit of shadow on my lash line. Because I'm not huge into eyeliner unless I'm doing like a liquid wing eyeliner for some reason. I don't really like it too much on myself, but I do kind of like to have a smoked out lash line. So I'm gonna dip back into that same dark brown color we just used with this and just ever so lightly smudge the lash line on the outer corner of my eye a little bit. Just to give it a little bit of definition. So that's it for my eyeshadow on my lid. Now I think to complete an eyeshadow look, I do like to put a little bit of shadow underneath my lash line because I think it just kind of brings it together. I'll use this short, dense Morphe brush. It's an E17 brush. This is my absolute favorite brush to use underneath my eyes. And I'm going to dip back in with that orange color that we used earlier. And then focus that underneath my eyes. Next, I'll use another short, dense brush with bristles that look like that. And it's a Morphe E18 brush. It's a little bit shorter, a little bit denser, and I'm gonna go in with that brown color. And then focus it even closer to the lash line than I did with the orange. And lastly, I'm going to take this narrow, more pointed brush by MAC. And I think it's a MAC 219. It's a bit worn off because I love this brush so much. And I'm going to take that really dark brown again and then focus that really, really close to the lash line. And I think the eyeshadow is done. Now, all we have left to do is mascara, but before I do my mascara, I do like to go ahead and set my face with setting spray because I find that if I do my setting spray after I do my mascara, then my mascara gets too wet and then it touches all over my face and I get black spots all over the place and it gets clumpy and it's not a good look. So I like to do it before. So I'll just use a Morphe brush. It's an M530. It's a really fat, fluffy brush. Looks like this. And then I dust that bake away. I love a lot of setting spray. I like to shellac my makeup to my face so it doesn't go anywhere. Just gonna curl my eyelashes a bit. And just like I like to prime my face and I like to prime my eyelids for my eyeshadow, I also like to prime my eyelashes before I put the mascara on. And I'm using this Photo Finish Lash Primer by Smashbox. Like that. And I really love the wand on this. I think that's part of why I love it so much. Because on one side, they're kind of short and dense, and on the other side, they're real long. So I like to coat my lashes with the one side, and then I like to comb through and lengthen them with the other side. And I found that it really does make a difference. And then I'm going to go in with the Tarte Lights Camera Splashes. Yeah, it's in this purple tube for my first base of mascara. I'm a big fan of mixing mascaras. I like to have it all, not just length or volume. I like to have all of it. Oh, just poked myself in the eye. And then I like to go in with the Benefit They're Real mascara. and then it really separates and lengthens my lashes. And last but not least, we're going to go in with lips. Now I love to mix liquid lipsticks and lip gloss and liners and all types of things to achieve my perfect look and perfect colors. So today I'm not going to be using a lip liner, but my current favorite mixture is this Morphe liquid lipstick in the shade Virgin, and then this Bare Minerals lip gloss in the shade Sugar, which I'm almost completely out of this lip gloss, and to actually run out of an entire tube of lip gloss is a big thing for me. I love this liquid lipstick so much. I could wear it on its own. It's matte, but it's not drying at all. It doesn't make my lips feel like all shriveled up. So I love it so much. It's so comfortable on the lips, but I'm really into a glossy finish lately. Love. And that is the finished look. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. I'm really happy to finally be back filming. Sorry I was gone for so long. I just kind of got away from it and then kept putting it off, but now I feel totally re-inspired and I have a bunch of new looks that I want to do and I want to try out a bunch of new products. So let me know in the comments or message me and let me know if there's something you specifically want me to try or a look you want me to do, or if you want me to focus a little more on how I do my eyebrows or how I do my mascara or a more in-depth eyeshadow blending tutorial. Please let me know. I'm feeling so inspired right now and I'm really excited to film some new videos for you guys. So thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you for all of my new followers and all my continued support. I really appreciate it so much, and I'm really looking forward to filming new videos and getting back on here with you guys. So thank you so much for tuning in today. Hope to see you soon. Bye.